stories on the hour, President Muhammadu Buhari reassures Nigerians in France of free and fair elections in future elections. Governor Ben Ayade defects to the APC. 2 feared dead as another explosion hits Abeokuta. Plus, latest in the world of sports. Hello, and thank you for joining us on Nta Abeokuta Channel 12 News. My name is Anila Balogun. The news in detail will start on the foreign scene. President Muhammadu Buhari is reassuring Nigerians that his administration's genuine commitment to free and fair elections will be followed through in every future election. Addressing Nigerian professionals in France, the president said the bedrock of democracy remains the sustenance of multi-party structure that can be trusted by all citizens. State House correspondent Damu Sambo completes this story.
Contributing 6.1% of the nation's annual GDP through remittances, as well as their talents, skills and global exposure to national development, Nigerians in the diaspora are indeed a constant source of pride to the country. No wonder, therefore, interacting with them is an indispensable part of President Buhari's activities while on official visit abroad.
We had Nigerians in the diaspora who got together to actually donate PPEs back home. They contributed millions of dollars and were able to give out PPEs to every state of the Federation. This kind of interaction, it's an opportunity for Nigerians here to engage with the president directly.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who addressed a wide range of issues, takes pride in the fact that results from elections since he assumed office had been a mixed bag, with the people's choice always playing out. He promised to keep the template that had brought more credibility to the electoral process.
As a sitting government, our party, the All Progressive Congress, lost a number of seats. And at our stage of development is unheard of. Normally those who are in power, by hook or by crook, they will win elections. But we believe in free and fair election. We show Nigerians that we respect them by allowing them to make their personal choice.
The president promised to remain steadfast in service to the nation and humanity, saying his administration will not relent until the country is fully secured and the people remain safe.
You have to secure the country to manage it properly. It's my duty to serve Nigerians and Nigeria with all my heart, and that's what I'm doing.
Describing agriculture as the future of Nigeria, President Buhari, however, maintained that the greatest resources are the people of the country, and therefore educating them is a priority. Some of the participants spoke to NTA News on their major takeaways from the interactive engagement.
The president has given us some words of assurance that he is on top of the game in this matter of insecurity. Our prayers are accompanying his government in all their efforts.
He has assured us that everything is in progress, and we believe him. He will fix it. He's the father of all.
Nigeria's ambassador to France, Kayode Ibrahim Lamu, had assured the president that the Nigerian community in France represent the best values of Nigeria. From Paris, France, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
An agreement to push wealthier nations to relocate $100 billion in International Monetary Fund (IMF) reserves to African states have been reached by African and European leaders. This was one of the outcomes of the Paris African Summit in Paris. Adebola Buxlin Sunday reports.
African leaders and heads of multilateral lenders advocating ways of financing African economies have issued a communique of a substantial financial package needed so that African countries are not left behind in economic recovery from the negative impacts of coronavirus pandemic. Top on the key talks is what they called special drawing rights from the International Monetary Fund reserves and reallocating them from richer nations to the African continent. President Emmanuel Macron, who is the convener of the summit, said France and several European countries took the step at a time when the continent is projected to face a near $300 billion deficit by the end of 2023.
Our work in the coming weeks will be to convince others to make the same effort as France, starting of course with the United States of America.
President Macky Sall of Senegal, who welcomed the plans, described it as a change of paradigm, as Africa is now building what it needs for all, which gives a ray of hope, while the International Monetary Fund's chief, Kristalina Georgieva, said Africa's economic outputs will increase by only 3.2% in 2021, compared with 6% in the rest of the world.
Revenues are down, expenditures are up, and debt is high.
Georgieva said IMF will come up with a new allocation proposal by August. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And back home in Nigeria, the Nigeria Governors Forum has drawn its weight behind Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State on the recent industrial dispute between the state government and the organized labor. The solidarity came to the fore at its 30th teleconference after Governor El-Rufai briefed the forum on the rationale behind his action as aggrieved labor leaders who advised to be calm in seeking redress. The forum commended the tremendous achievements recorded by Kaduna State and weighs chances of borrowing a leave from the governor in view of the present economic reality. Correspondent Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the forum also reviewed performances of ongoing economic policy frameworks, external intervention support projects, COVID-19 vaccination, and took far-reaching decisions. No fewer than 2 persons have been found dead Thursday morning in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, following a gas explosion at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library Complex. Yemi Dalemo reports that the explosion affected an event center within the complex.
Gas cylinder located within one of the event centers within the library in Abeokuta was said to have exploded while one of the staff was carrying out a routine exercise in the event center. Eyewitness account says a deafening sound emanating from the premises of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library Complex got those around the area scared and scampered for safety.
It was just a loud explosion like this, and I don't even know how this happened. We were just inside there, so we just see the explosion.
Gaining entrance into the premises was impossible as security personnel were on ground to restrict movement. In a press statement which was later released and signed by the managing director Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Vitalis Otise, the explosion occurred when a pair of technical vendors were conducting routine servicing of the air conditioning units. He added that the technical vendor lost his life while the second injured vendor is receiving treatment at the hospital. At the time of filing this report, normalcy has since returned to the complex as movement into the premises, which was suspended earlier, had been restored after clearance by men of the fire service. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
The federal government is considering an adjustment to accommodate local artisanal oil refiners leveraging on pipeline surveillance funds. The Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta is appealing to the National Assembly to insert the recommendations of the National Summit on the integration of modular artisanal refining in the ongoing PIB legislation, which was chaired by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The recommendations include setting up a desk in the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, midstream, for modular and mini refiners operation, that a stakeholder safety committee involving the Office of the Vice President and other relevant government agencies in the oil sector be set up to ensure international best practice. But the National Assembly should mainstream and give mini refiners a legal framework and ensure the Department of Petroleum Resources grants license to mini refiners at a commensurate fee, among others. A 30-year-old framework for responsible and inclusive land investment working group to facilitate land acquisition for investors interested in agriculture to boost food security in Ogun State has been inaugurated by the state governor, Nta Abeokuta. Anthony Cantano reports.
To formally inaugurate the 30 members of the technical working group drawn from about 15 years, carefully selected to be able to operationalize so that Ogun State can benefit from the implementation of this framework. Thank you.
Inaugurating the Framework for Responsible and Inclusive Land Investment in Agriculture Working Group, FRILIA, Governor Nta Abeokuta says the intention is to attract more investors who are interested in agricultural business to Ogun State and for them to have access to genuine land acquisitions in the state. The governor, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Finance, Nta Abeokuta, explained that the initiative will also strengthen economic growth in the state.
Create an environment for business, but will now sit down to the investor public that Ogun State is ready for business. And so all the community issues that are faced by a lot of these investors in other states will be a thing of history in Ogun State.
Project coordinator Oakstep Oluwatoyin Chukwusenumi commended the initiative and said members were drawn from various ministries, departments and agencies of Ogun State government. Good messages at the inauguration centered on the need to repose confidence in the minds of prospective investors that the state is safe for investments.
The Ogun State Economic Transformation Project focused essentially on 3 sectors and a component.
We have also been told that this is history that is happening here. It's only Kaduna State that has done this, which makes us the second in the entire nation. And indeed, we are first in the entire southern Nigeria.
We've had a PPP, we've had the Ogun Invest, and this is another one that will place us on top of agricultural intervention in the world, not even in Nigeria.
Is it taking?
Worried by the spate of killings of security personnel and attacks on their facilities and other public institutions in Ebonyi State and the entire Southeast Zone, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 9 Headquarters, Nta Abeokuta, in an interactive section with traditional rulers and stakeholders in Ebonyi State to chart the way forward, sought their collaboration with the Nigerian police. Ijoma Peter Uwante was there in our report.
The AIG of Zone 9 Umuahia, Nta Abeokuta, who is not happy with the killings of security personnel and other forms of attack on the formations, said funds used to embark on rebuilding police stations would have been channeled to other developmental projects. He enjoined leaders at all levels to synergize with security agencies towards addressing the spate of insecurity in the state.
It's from your money, your tax. These infrastructures are given. It is your own. But you turn around to burn, kill the policeman, collect the rifle that you bought for them to use in protecting you. Then where are we headed?
The Ebonyi State Commissioner of Police, Aliyu Garba, while commending the synergy between the state government and all security agencies in the state, acknowledged that though it is their constitutional responsibility to maintain peace and order, the people's cooperation is important.
We cannot do it alone, as no police agency anywhere in the world has ever claimed to achieve its security mandate all alone.
Major contributions from stakeholders at the interactive session hinged on the need to provide adequate employment for the youths as part of measures to check insecurity in the country. In Abakaliki, Ijoma Peter Uwante, NTA News.
A 47-year-old woman, Olanshile Nasiruddin, has been apprehended by men of Ogun State Police Command for stabbing a 51-year-old husband to death. A statement signed by Police Public Relations Officer Abimbola Oyeyemi notes that the suspect was arrested following a distress call received by the DPO Obalende Divisional Headquarters, Ijebu-Ode, that the suspect, who is a co-butcher with the deceased, cited a woman who her husband recently impregnated at the abattoir, and she started questioning the woman about her audacity to get pregnant for her husband. This led to a hot argument between her and the deceased, as a result of which the suspect picked a knife and stabbed the deceased at the back joint of his left leg, thereby cutting one of his veins. He was quickly rushed to a nearby hospital for first aid and later transferred to Ijebu-Ode General Hospital, where he eventually gave up the ghost while receiving treatments due to excessive bleeding. Upon the distress call, the DPO Obalende Division SP Murphy Salami led his men to the scene, but the suspect has took to flight before the arrival. She was subsequently traced and was eventually arrested in a hideout at Mobalofon area of Ijebu-Ode. On interrogation, the suspect, who happened to be the fourth wife of the deceased, claimed that it was her husband who first slapped her simply because she asked his new wife permission at a market stand. The corpse of the deceased had been released to the family for burial in accordance with Islamic rites after the autopsy has been conducted on it. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Edward Awolowo Ajogun, has ordered the immediate transfer of the suspect to Homicide Section of the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department for discreet investigation and prosecution. We'll take a break. Channel 12 News continues in a moment. Stay with us.
If you run mad, we know where take us out. Every time now this phone. Have you gone to buy more units for light? Give me this phone. Ha! They don't finally get you. Enter store, you go see one pink nylon. Bring and come. If you try am. Now that chicken where they use corner look me. Now I want to. That one.
Oh. So now why you send me message when no get with this? Take. Make yourself begin to enjoy credit and data. Berekete.
Introducing Berekete. Activate a new Glow SIM and get 600 Naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans. Find your first with Berekete. Glow Unlimited.
Welcome back. And now to party politics. Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State has dumped the People's Democratic Party for All Progressive Party, APC. The governor made the declaration in the presence of 6 APC state governors and the Minister of Petroleum for State, Timipre Silva, in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, where there has been a meeting prior to this declaration. Correspondent Paul Abel reports that in attendance at the epoch meeting were National and all State Assembly members, Senator Florence Itagiwa, Cross River State Executive Council members, Local Government Council chairmen, all political holders, office holders, and other political bigwigs in the state. It will be recalled that barely 2 weeks ago, some PDP governors visited Governor Ayade to woo him to remain in the party after he earlier expressed frustration and injustice by the leadership of the party. In the arena, we now join our sports desk for sports update.
Hello and welcome to Sports Updates. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin with racket sports, where the Nigeria Tennis Federation has reaffirmed its commitment to the projection of more homegrown players through national ranking tournaments as a catalyst for qualification into major world tennis tours, including ATP and WTA events at the end of the year 2021.
Players that get up to the semi-finals automatically qualify to play another tournament. The prize monies are high, and of course the best players will partake in the Davis Cup and the Fed Cup, which is the Billie Jean Cup that will be participating in for the first time in Lithuania.
Moving on to athletics, Nigeria Sprint queen Blessing Okagbare ran a season's best time of 22.59 seconds to place second position in the women's 200 meters event at the 60th Ostrava Golden Spike, putting up a good challenge against American Sha'Carri Richardson, who finished first in the race at a time of 22.35 seconds, while Mojinga Kabunji took third at a time of 22.85 seconds. The Ostrava Golden Spike is one of the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Series. And now football. Manchester City defender Ruben Diaz has been named as the Footballer of the Year by the Football Writers Association, finishing ahead of Tottenham striker Harry Kane and teammate Kevin De Bruyne. The 24-year-old Portuguese is only the third player to win the FWA award in his first season in English football, and the last defender to win the accolade was Liverpool's Steve Nicol 32 years ago. And that's Sports Update. I'm Ayodeji Makinde.
That wraps up Channel 12 News. I'm Ayala Balogun. Thanks for being there.